friends. And yay, we got a recording going. So everybody has to introduce themselves again. No, I'm joking. But thank you again for all our community being here and for all the people that are here as well. We now have a recording, so we're going to be able to actually leave this on our general chat so people can visit it, and we're going to share it later. So some of the big announcements, as I said, is our breakfast around the world this May. You're going to be able to meet our community in cities around the world, including London, Berlin, Paris, Toronto, Lisbon, Singapore, and maybe New York. So if you're in any of those cities, please sign up and then join our community so you get to meet our members. Secondly, our Genesis NFT membership is launching at the end of May. So now that we've done with Demo Day, we're going to be able to focus on that, and you're going to learn about the concepts and the rarity of it in the next the next 10 days. From there is going to be Go, Go, Go. It's a very rare collection. It's for women's health OG supporters. It's meant for our community, but we're still taking applications for those if we actually have such massive demand. We need to do more. Just for context, there's only 250 NFTs. So it is very rare, but when you get to learn more about all the different tiers and all the different things that you can do with the NFT, is going to be really fun. Again, if you could drop the link, Ines, that was on our pitch presentation, that'd be great. And everybody who's here or anybody who's joined, please do the best you can do is either join our community or spread the word of what we're doing in women's health research. Now that we're recording, and unfortunately we missed the presentations of everybody introducing themselves that is here on stage, but I guess what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of the questions that were prepared for us to go over, and that way you can hear them over the recording. So this is going to be for both Maria and Stefano and Lou, who were the ones to evaluate the first round of submissions on ovarian aging. So, well, I can answer one part, but the first part is, can you tell us more about how you're sourcing the projects? So I'm just going to chime in first, and then everybody else can add more, but I think it made a big difference that a lot of us came from the longevity world because we knew about reproductive longevity. So the other part is that Maria, she's actually Dr. Maria Marinova. She did her PhD in ovarian aging. So there was that. And the biggest part, it was also a lot of outreach. And now that we actually have the first round done, it's going to be so much easier to get going in the next. But Maria, Stefano, Lou, if you guys want to talk about how you brought some of people in your network into it. And even Lou, if you can talk about how it was Dr. Brian Kennedy who said, hey, aren't you part of ATHENADAO? You should submit your project. Maria, do you want to speak about how we source the projects?
Sure, I can start. So I think for me it was a little easier because I spent 4 years in that space. So I kind of knew the main researchers and the main names in the field. And I have had previous contact with some of them. So I reached out and gave them a brief intro, how do and how could we potentially work together. And then there were a bunch of others that we basically had to cold email and let them know about the opportunity to apply for funding. But now going forward to other fields that I'm not super familiar with, I think it would be great if we could go to conferences or see the presence online and just read the major papers, see who's most active in the field, and reach out to them and see what we could figure out together. Because as we saw with one of the researchers we spoke to actually yesterday, they already have some commercialization idea of what they want to do, but they're struggling to find how to do this and to find the first partner that would help them in that direction. So maybe Lou or Stefano, you want to add?
Stefano? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not like I joined ATHENADAO a little bit later when most of the applications were in, so it didn't I did a little bit of outreach among my network. I knew a couple of researchers in my community, in my university, and also people that I've known during my career that were working on the field of fertility. And I think again the reaction is always the same. People is excited that new opportunities for funder research are popping up, and I think it's pretty much needed when you talk to them. It's clearly a need.
Yes, and Lou, finally, we have like a two-sided story too, because we actually did do we sent an abstract to the first ACRLE conference, and I presented and you presented, and then you had also met Maria at ARDD. But can you tell us about how you actually found out about DeSci and ATHENADAO, because you actually were not familiar with anything in the space?
Yeah, I was not familiar with either DeSci or Web3 or ATHENADAO. It was just so lucky that I met Maria and Laura at two different conferences about aging or over and aging. And I really appreciated the fact that DeSci provides the opportunity to bring together people from all around the globe, so that you see we have the contact and reach out to scientists from different parts of the world. For example, Maria and Stefano, maybe they reach out to more like Europe, US. But for me, I think I can reach out to scientists mostly in Singapore or in Asia. So we cover a wider range of potential applicants and people who are interested to know more about ATHENADAO and join us. There are scientists that approach and they're really excited to hear that ATHENADAO has this funding opportunity, and they can also just join Discord and become a member of the ATHENADAO community. I think it's all about what this decentralized science can bring some new energy and like structure to science research and how science research can be funded.
Thank you for that, Lou. I think one of the most important things is the part where you've always said how you were motivated by the mission, women's health. Not so, the mechanisms or all of that is like something else, but that's the exciting thing about what we're working on is that there's a huge amount of women who are motivated by this, and by having the area of women's health and Web3 come together, it's such a massive opportunity also to onboard women, because not everybody is necessarily into tradable NFTs or tokens, but women are interested in advancing women's health. So we think we're a great gateway to bring more women into Web3. And Asan just joined the stage. I asked her if she could come say hi, because she was also there at the beginning. We met at DeSci Berlin, which was exactly a year, almost a year ago in 1 week. So Asan, if you want to introduce yourself and say more about you and why you are such an amazing contributor with us.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, first of all, so Laura and I met last year at DeSci Berlin, and Laura was actually the MC doing an amazing job. And very soon after, yeah, ATHENADAO came into being, and just wanted to say to Laura and the entire team, super, super proud of you for how far you've come. It was an exceptional presentation, and I really enjoyed it. I would love if I can have so much more time to spend with ATHENADAO. Unfortunately, it doesn't always permit, but I cannot think of a better team to tackle this problem. And yeah, Laura, I'm rooting for ATHENADAO and all of you, and I'm super happy to be part of the team, and super happy to contribute wherever I can. And I would invite everyone to contribute as much as you can, whatever you can. It's the best thing about Web3 is that it's not only like technical contributions that's needed, it's like we need all-rounders and generalists to make something successful.
Yes, and it takes a village. It takes a community. It takes a lot of people. And this is a great way to actually segue to saying thank you so much to the community so far. We wouldn't have been able to do all that we've done up to today. It's been a crazy 6-7 months. We got incredibly fortunate that when the idea of ATHENADAO came to be was around the time Bio.xyz was launching, literally, I think 1 month before. So timing is usually of the essence, and the amazing community that we built and that we want to continue to grow is going to go to, instead of the moon, to a disco ball moon. No, I'm joking. In any case, what was the next question, Inez? Can you remind me? Is Inez here? She's not here. She's back down again. Okay, so Discord is definitely acting up again. But let's go. How do we do? We talked about that. What are the what qualities are we looking in for good projects in terms of research? So I'm going to have, now we've done a lot of changing how we do things at ATHENADAO from a previous experience. Like for instance, one of the things that we discovered over the first 6 months, it was that it was better to do, when we choose projects, we are choosing them by cohort of condition. Meaning that, for instance, the first round of submissions was in ovarian aging. We're moving to PCOS and endo. And I let both Maria, Lou, and Stefano talk about more about what aspects are we looking for in terms of the quality of the science when we say translational and ready to be going to company formation. And Maria, you can even, you mentioned it earlier with like the research project that we discussed yesterday with the researcher and their TTO of Tech Transfer Office. Can you just go over more so people know in terms of why we're looking for certain, well, not why, but what specific things we're looking for to make sure that our IP NFTs and assets are very diversified and interesting?
So I'm sure you know we're not a government funding body. We don't give away grants. We're looking for translatable and commercializable projects where we could have our licensed IP from the science and whatever comes out of the project, so we could potentially actually develop the product or asset further and bring it to the patients rather than it staying in a pile at a TTO office. So we'll be looking for projects that are actually looking for therapies for human conditions. So PCOS and endometriosis are huge unmet needs on the market. So we would like to come at a stage that is translation is possible. So they've done some background research, they've identified a mechanism, they've seen it's important for a mechanism related to those conditions, and now they are looking to develop drugs or therapeutics or some kind of therapy, which we could help them with and fund that, and potentially even incubate the project in order to make it more translatable and more suitable for ATHENADAO funding.
Stefano? Yeah, I didn't know if I was not listening again or. But yeah, basically, I think Maria has summarized it quite well. Of course, we are aware that in one of the issues with women's health is that sometimes we need a lot of data to build these kind of more translational projects. And we are also exploring other types of projects, but we are focusing more in the translational at the beginning, since we need to make the the DAO sustainable. And yeah, basically, we are looking, as Maria said, projects that have some target in terms of drug already identified and are ready to build some intellectual property on top of it. And of course, we have we try to help the researchers to incubate the projects and improve the project to bring it closer to IP generation, because most of the times researchers are very focused in writing grants in a very academic way, and our review process establishes a conversation and tries to be very iterative, so they can improve and really know what they need to look for and how the project needs to be structured. And I think most of all of them are reacting very well to our way of working. They are actually very grateful for this kind of interaction.
Yeah, I think the one thing that everybody has to know that is most exciting is the iteration process, and how some of these researchers are willing for things to be incubated so that they head in the direction of translation. And the meeting yesterday, it was very exciting, simply because realizing that we were taking the time to guide the research process, the actual researcher was like, well, I do have a project that is literally ready to be a company. And that wouldn't happen if we weren't doing things the way we're doing it. And in academia, it's not done this way normally. So that's a very exciting process about trying to move things to more therapeutics, more drug discovery, because in the end, that's what's going to make the biggest difference in women's health. And we talked a lot about science. We talked about Lou's IPNFT, the other IPNFT, but we should talk about community. And since Erin is here, which is in comms and awareness, it's a huge part of a DAO, keeping up with all the communication. Carolina, if you want to come up, that'll be awesome as well. Because we have an amazing team of women that are like putting their 2 cents here and there and thinking of ideas to move the community forward in terms of content and partnerships. So, Erin, do you want to say something about community?
Sure. So some of the things that I have been looking at, or will soon be looking at, have ranged from the website, so that we're rebuilding the website and looking at the content there, specifically focusing on not the science mix. We have some amazing scientists who are much more qualified for that, but more the kind of general larger community side. So more the kind of average woman or man who might be interested in supporting this initiative and making sure that it speaks to them. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of things, crypto, Web3 can be scary, can be confusing. And if we do want to onboard in the way that I believe we intend to, it will require, of course, going a bit wider and making this comprehensible, but also comfortable for the people we're trying to reach. Also helping a little on PR, or starting to, hoping that we'll be able to get a little bit of press around the NFT launch. And I'm also going to be digging into the kind of user journey side, and I'm really excited for that, seeing what kind of paths different people who are interested in ATHENADAO are taking, how they're getting to us, what that experience looks like once they reach us, and what makes them hopefully stay. I think that's it for my front for now.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that, because I think one of the most important things for women's health, and we discussed this, is making it consumer friendly and easy to understand. And when you are working on a project with so much science, you sometimes think that people are going to understand what the value proposition is. So with somebody like you, who's written for amazing lifestyle and fashion magazines, you can bring that know-how to say, how do we make our website consumer friendly and easy for women to understand, while still having all the amazing science behind?
Yeah.
So, Caroline, you're also here if you want to talk about partnerships and initiatives, because you also are in NFT space and also a huge advocate in women's health. Do you want to say something about it?
Yeah, sure. So what I try to do at the moment is really reach out NFT communities that I'm in, trying to see how we can make partnership with communities that are really aligned with our values. And also I'm really into femtech, into a lot of communities. So trying to bring awareness, any even in real life event where I'm going to, because what I always hear, it's the same thing when all the startups that are trying to build right now in fintech is that there are some difficulties to find some funding from VCs, particularly because there is always this lack of research. And so every time I speak about ATHENADAO, everyone is like, yeah, we need this, and it always validates what we are doing. And so yes, trying to bring this community to ATHENADAO, and yes, so really working in bring together the Web3 space and the femtech space is really interesting.
Yes, this is the big thing that everybody needs to understand. The reason there's not as much femtech investments or venture capital investments on women's health is because we are lacking the science. And we're stuck in a vicious circle where there's not more investments because there's not enough science. If there's not enough science, there's not more investments. So if we unlock the science part of women's health, we're going to unlock about the opportunities, especially more capital going into new companies, which will lead to more therapeutics, which lead to more solutions for women. But the other thing that everybody has to remember is that women are the makers of huge industries. They are the makers of the luxury industry. They are the makers of the beauty industry. And so everybody does remember 80% of the household healthcare decisions are made by women. So it's crazy that biopharma spends only 1% of their R&D on women's health, women's specific conditions, because we're leaving a huge part of the market on the ground. And the opportunities are massive. I think tweeted this morning, I used to be a trend forecaster in my past life. And I have to say that I do believe 1000% that women's health, research, innovation, and biotech is the next frontier for the next decade. There's going to be a huge influx. There's so many new conferences, so many new events, so many other new so many other It'll be a really great time. Oh, did you stop hearing me? Oh no, can somebody else speak? Are we
All
having
good now.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Now we can hear you. We lost you temporarily only.
Where did you guys lose me at? Well, it doesn't matter. I can repeat. Do you guys want me to repeat? Can you hear me again? Yay, Discord! It's so much fun. Oh, who can hear me? Raise your hand. Put an
I can hear
emoji.
you.
Inez can hear us. Maria can hear us. Where did you guys lose me? Oh, San is coming up. Who's coming up? Who's coming up to speak? Hello? Okay. Okay, awesome. I don't know where you left me, but basically I said that the more assets and science we have, the more opportunity we're going to have in terms of company formation and incubation. So good. Everybody can hear me now. We still can manage to get Ines up here properly. I guess I'm going to go to the next set of questions, and it's going to be in relation to community as well. Anybody else has any questions in the audience, by the way? Anything you want to say? Any comments? Ideas? plans. How are you onboarding new community members and contributors? So basically, everybody is filling out a form. In the form, you can just choose to be a member of, join the community, or you can choose to be a contributor to our comms and awareness or to our science and deal flow group. As of next week or in 2 weeks, we're going to start the contributors to the governance and tokenomics working group. And the only reason we delayed doing that is because we wanted to focus on science first. And now that we have almost 15 science and deal flow contributors, and we're pretty much organized in how we're doing the project submission, project evaluation, and how we're dealing with our senior advisors, that is all ready and set to go. Next part is on the governance. So how do we actually work on things that are more equitable? I think most of the people who know anything about crypto realize that right now weighted tokenomics is not the be-all and end-all of things. It would be awesome if it was. And when it comes to women's health is how do we actually put more advantage, how do we do things voting in a way that benefits researchers or women with a condition or something similar to that. So we'll be launching those. But basically, you fill out a form, you get a one-on-one call. We speak about your story, what we're doing, and ideas, and then you just join a working group. All of our contributors are amazing, and they're putting somewhere between 5 to 10 hours a week, and pitching in different areas of where everything has to be done. So I think the profiles are very diverse. We have PhDs, we have experts in communication, Web3, and basically you don't even have to be an expert or anything, as long as you're motivated by the mission. You will find something that you want to do, and that's the exciting thing about DAOs, that they're not as hierarchical or as set boundaries. Like for instance, there are academic conferences in science that non-academics cannot attend, and that's not how things are done when you're working in decentralized autonomous organizations. So Ines, any way we can figure out you're coming up here and speaking, because I'm running out of steam between the DemoDay and I think I'm like not sure about the questions anymore if we covered everything. Anybody else has any more questions? Any comments? Oh, there's Ines.
Yes, sorry. I think I was having trouble with Discord, but I'm here. Yeah, I think we covered most of the. I think like science is a big part of what we are doing at ATHENADAO, and Stefano and Maria already shared a lot of like the process and what's happening. I think it's also an evolving process, right? So things will get better and it will keep evolving over the next few months, years. So I think that's also a very important part. We are getting a lot of new contributors for the deal flow and science working group, and everyone is bringing their own expertise, their own ideas on how to basically deal with the sourcing and also the evaluation of the different projects. So I think like a lot of exciting things happening there, and also a lot of I think a lot of opportunities for keep on growing and evolving the deal flow working group. Another thing that you also mentioned is the community side. We have like the comms and awareness working group. Our focus is on like building momentum for ATHENADAO, making sure that people get to know us, because it's very easy to fall in love with the mission of ATHENADAO. Every week I spend like a few hours like talking with women, and basically everyone immediately understands like why we are here, what we are trying to do, but we need to keep going. We need to keep on sharing information, like the egg freezing guide. Nidhi was here, she was like, and Victoria, both of them very much like involved in creating this egg freezing guide. We have the reproductive health report, volume 1. We are now working on volume 2. So making sure that information and quality information, health information is actually available for women from around the world that want to understand better what's happening in this space. So that's super important as well, and that's a part of our job. And as you mentioned, like there's still a lot to do in the DAO, right? I think I'm going to repeat myself, but the DAO is definitely a work in progress. There is governance, tokenomics, operations, everything is for us to do. So yeah, I think like a lot of things, exciting things happen. We need more people to join the Athena DAO, and I think May will definitely be a very exciting month for what we are doing.
Yeah, and for the science, Maria mentioned that she's not here already, but we're already going to have one of our contributors, a researcher in oncology and endometriosis, attending a conference next week in Edinburgh for all the endometriosis research that's going on at the moment. So we're super excited about that because she's representing Athena DAO, and she is going to be writing about it in our reproductive health report, which will be our second public good. So I want to remind people to make sure they donate, because with that we pay all the researchers, and we also do things like funding the attending these conferences. I know that we also have amazing researchers that are going to be working with us as advisors for the second round, and one of them is a very prominent PCOS researcher in Sweden. We'll make the announcements when she also writes an opinion piece on our second reproductive health report. I think the most exciting thing about the decentralized autonomous organizations is the incredible amount of intellectual capital that you can bring together, and also the type of people that are coming together that wouldn't have come together otherwise. From researchers to communication experts to women, it's unparalleled how you can bring these communities together in terms of their ideas cross-pollinating in ways that weren't done before. So we encourage you to spread the word, get your friends, your family, your what was I going to say? Friends, family, people that are curious in your advocacy in women's health or Web3 to join, because the next 6 months are going to be a lot of fun in terms of the second report, announcing our first IP NFTs, and all the other collaborations that we have working with the researchers. They love the way that we're doing the evaluation of the projects. And this first round took a long time because it's our first one, but we are going to be doing rounds from 4 to 5 months max, from submission to funding, And each time is going to be into different areas of research. So we have so much to cover, from oncology, rare cancers, to autoimmune diseases, to even looking at things like Alzheimer's, but with the scope of how it affects women. So it doesn't matter if you're not in PCOS, ovarian aging, or endo for now, we're still going to go long way in terms of onboarding more types of researchers. What else? Was there another question in terms? We did community, we did science, governance. I mentioned governance, so the links are on our chat. What else can we say in terms of the DAOs that people might have?
I think you mentioned something. Sorry, Laura. I was just saying, you mentioned something that I think is super important. Is like, why a DAO? And I think we get that question a lot of times. And you mentioned like the DAO can bring together a diverse group of like researchers, operators, entrepreneurs, investors, advocates, and like that with the same mission, right? So I think it's super important that people understand like what a DAO can help us with, and I think it really makes sense to have this structure and not something else, right?
Well, I mean, other things have their function, but the big thing here is bringing something new to the equation, right? And since women's health has been so overlooked, we just basically have to sort it out ourselves. It's just the way it is. And the biggest part is collaborating, not just saying, oh, we're going to revolutionize the entire process, because they're amazing. We count with working with incredible researchers at incredible institutions. I mean, Stefano here, he is in academia. And he's just got actually recently funded for the next, how many years, Stefano, for your own research?
4 years.
Yeah, so congrats on that. Stefano is one of those researchers that has been funded, and it's great. So we still want to work with academia. We still want to work with traditional systems of funding, and most importantly, to be able to collaborate. Because one thing that women's health needs a lot right now is collaboration. It's a massive opportunity, but it's also very dispersed. And just 2 months ago, I think we tweeted that Bayer decided to leave women's health research as one of their categories as they changed CEOs. Was it that you told me that it was a change of CEOs, right, Stefano? I think it was somebody else who mentioned it on the
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
So that's not good news for myself. That's why we're here. But are there, I would love to invite other members of the audience. They want to come say hi or have any questions. If not, I'm going to start singing, and my singing is really bad. Anything else, Inez, that you wanted to say, or Erin, Caroline, in terms of the breakfast, in terms of our new website launches in May as well? And it's basically an evolution, just completing the website we have now, because that was just sort of a very fast landing thing that we had to do from when we had the reproductive health report. So our full-on website is happening this May, and it's going to be ready for the minting of our NFTs. The other exciting thing that we want to mention is that we're working with a very exciting partner, NoRamp, and there's going to be a number of NFTs that are available on our website, are going to be able to be purchased with your credit card. And the reason we're doing that is because we need to bridge Web 2 tools to Web 3. For example, with some of the researchers, we only work with them through email. We're not forcing them to come to Discord. There are things that you just have to, it has some barriers of entry, but in the end, the tools is not as important as getting some of the other things done. And we want to onboard a lot of women into what we're doing. So if not having a wallet is stopping them, or if not understanding Discord is stopping them, we just have to go to where they are. And where they are is in a lot of Web 2 tools. Anything that I missed on that, Inez, or that we should mention?
No, I think that's it. I think that's a lot of things, exciting things happen. If you want to join a DAO that's like really hands-on, making things happen very fast, and with a roadmap that's super exciting, I think ATHENADAO is definitely the place to be. There's always things to do and always projects for you to take over, and we are very open for people to lead and be autonomous. So I think like the future is bright for ATHENADAO, so feel free to join us. You have our contributors form. So basically let's make sure that together we can work together on this.
I also wanted to thank, I have some of you here, Leo, Hydric, and Hassan from the Molecule. I've just met Gaston, but from the Bio.xyz team, say thank you so much, because all of this is possible. They've been working very hard for the past week, doing recordings, doing a list of all the things we had to do, and putting all of this together. So like big applause for the team. I hope you guys are having champagne in Berlin. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, Leo.
Hey, Laura. Hey, Ines, and all the Athena community. We are definitely having champagne here and pizza. Enjoying the live stream of all of the DAOs pitching, and we're especially proud to have seen and witness here. It's me and Heinrich. Hi, everyone. And Izan is coming around. Izan, proud member of
representing. I love that. Wait,
So
send her again. I need to take a screenshot of this. Thank you guys. Love
Thank you,
that.
guys.
So big shout out. Thanks for the shout out from your side, and also back to you. Amazing presentation, amazing journey you're on. Super pumped to see your development in the future, and it looks like it's gonna be bright.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you guys. I know you work really hard, and we're very appreciative of all the work that was put in. And the next thing is now the breakfast in Berlin. It is
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
with the team. Everybody's going to be there, so do go and meet them. They're amazing building, which I love. And then everybody else.
Great coffee, great building, great company, and a lot of good free beer. Okay, for breakfast, sure.
It's true. You can
and of
have beer
course,
in the morning.
the best ATHENADAO talks and conversation about how we can bring women's reproductive health to the next level.
Let's do
So
it.
don't miss out on the breakfast.
With beer, very German.
Yes, very German.
And if anybody else,
Okay.
thank you so much, Leo. Thanks again for all the support.
You're welcome.
What else did I want to say? I wanted to say that if anybody else wants to host a breakfast, you're more than welcome to, if you're in a city that we haven't actually mentioned already. And the cool thing is that we're very agile when people are onboarded and they just can represent us. By the way, I am going to be at ETH Boston as of tomorrow, and I'm going to be talking about women's health research, the next big opportunity in biotech. So if you have any friends that are at ETH Boston, I am going to be wearing my ATHENADAO t-shirt. Tell them to say hi. I would love to meet as many people as possible. We're also going to be attending the first FemTech conference in Paris, a huge conference that brings together pretty much anybody working in the business in women's health. And that's going to be May 9th and 10th. And I think that's when we're going to host our breakfast. Hopefully it works out for Erin. But save the date in those 2 days in Paris. And as I said again, we have one of the researchers, Dr. Monica Golinska, going to Edinburgh. Is it Edinburgh, Ines, for endometriosis?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's going to be there May 3rd and 4th. So look out for her if you know anybody working in endometriosis. And with Dr. Elizabeth Steiner, we're going to be actually figuring out attending the next PCOS conference that is happening towards September. We're not going to be able to report about that science, but we're starting our relationships with all those researchers in the field. With that, what else are we doing? There's a couple of other events. They don't come to mind right now. Anything else I missed? Oh, yes. Anybody who's into crypto and network states, I will be in Susalu from May 5th to the 15th for the longevity session. And I will actually be doing a reproductive technologies talk. I have 2 talks, one with an amazing founder who is doing Matt Isilov, I believe is his last name. He is the founder of Conception, which is the company that is bringing IVG technologies into fruition. And that's happening May 12th. And on the May 14th, we're talking with 2 researchers and scientists, and also women that are working in 2 amazing startups. One is MenoAge, and the other one is actually in stealth mode, but she was the former chief science officer of Clue, which Clue is a very famous app in Europe and around the world for period tracking. So she's going to be, we organized this panel. Max, who couldn't attend today, who's one of our contributors, and VitaDAO contributors, made sure that we had 1 hour to talk about reproductive longevity. It's going to be the 2 of them, potentially Dr. Brian Kennedy from NUS, because he is the actual director of the Center for Reproductive Longevity and Equality in Asia. And the vice director is one of our advisors, Dr. Shangwei Hong. So the panel might include him as well, but we have a ton of events coming up, so hopefully we'll get to meet a lot of you. Well, I mean, some of you, we don't know you in person, but hopefully, sorry, my throat is really like drying up. Ines, if you can continue.
Yeah, actually, I can. So adding up, I will be at ETH Global Lisbon. So I think it's May 12th, 13th, and 14th. So if you are around Lisbon, just let me know. I will be there. And also, I will be in the end of May. I will be at Block Split. So this conference happening in Split, where they will have a whole day DeSci event, where as ATHENADAO will be able to present what we are doing, yeah, and engage, especially like researchers into this side and in specifically into Bio.xyz. So yeah, those two events are also happening in May. So a lot of things happening, basically in terms of events around Web3, but also femtech and women's health. I think that like in terms of events, I think that's it. We will, yeah, and also in terms of what we are up to. If I'm not sure, like if there's any questions. Caroline was asking if where we have a recap of all events. We'll be publishing them. We have been like publishing some of the things on Twitter, but because of DemoDay and with the hype video, we end up like not publish everything because it would be too much. So next week we'll do an update on the events
Of
where
course,
we'll
no
be
worries.
at.
Yeah, I
Sorry?
was just thinking. No. I was just thinking there is so many cool events, and yeah. No worries. Maybe
Yeah,
next week
I think
would be
we
good.
have we have them I think on our public calendar, so you can find some of those, if not
Oh, great.
all, some of those events there. Yeah, some of
Okay,
those
I'll
events
check
there.
it.
But yeah, but we'll definitely be updating everyone more on these events. Yeah, and I think that's it, Laura. From my side, I think that it's everything. I think, as you mentioned, it's been it's been like 6 or 7 months that we have been working on ATHENADAO, but it seems like we have actually done much more, and we accomplished so much. And yeah, very excited things happening in our roadmap, and with everyone's contributing, I think we can definitely make a dent on women's health research.
Yes, now the next part is to get everything that we need to really get going and starting the funding and everything else. So we've done so much, but there's still so much to do. And we do have some strategic partners already on board. So we're finalizing that. We are going to wait until we make the final announcements when after our IP NFT and our membership NFT happen. But it's very exciting that so many people are actually so excited about this and that they want to become strategic partners with us and support our mission. So we were not, I mean, we're technically didn't wanted to make like the big announcement as soon as possible, but it'll be better to do it after our NFT membership because that leads to our funding of the IP NFT and also of the 2 IP NFTs and as well as our reproductive health report and our second call of submissions. So do subscribe to our newsletter. Do keep up with us on social media, on Twitter. We're now on TikTok too. We are looking for a TikTok contributor because that's another beast altogether. And on IG. So it's crazy how anything that we do now requires 30 million channels of communication because you need to remind people that you're there. So if anybody knows anybody who's great on TikTok, please send them our way. What's the other part? Newsletter. It's becoming very popular. We're getting people signed up to it. So please do subscribe to it. And that's where we're putting all the information for the launch of the membership NFTs. So make sure that you are subscribed to it. Well, I think we're being here quite some time now. I don't know if we've exhausted questions. Should we just like hang out here? I guess for the European crowd, you guys could be having wine and just having a chat right now, but it's only 2 p.m. here in Toronto. Maybe we can invite Gaston to come say something. Oh, Ines left. Stefano, any last calls for the next round of reminders for the Science and Deal Flow group?
No, I think we will be in contact. We are right now just gathering potential researchers to contact and doing a little bit of outreach. So please, if you read something, some research, interesting research on the field of PCOS and endometriosis, please contact me or Maria, and yeah.
Cool.
Passionate about.
Awesome. Oh, and we also wanted to announce we didn't properly announcement, but Stefano is also joining CORE. So that was like a big thing for us. Welcome to CORE, Stefano. Your contribution has been so invaluable in your support as well. And it's a big proof that you don't have to be a woman to be a big supporter of women's health.
Thank you. It's been super nice, and super excited to be helping advance the field.
Okay. Well, anybody, you're not obliged to stay here. I am going to stay on. Ines, if you can come up, and if there are any questions, please go ahead. Or are we supposed to stay here till 2:30? I wasn't sure how was it working out. No, until 1:30. No, or somebody tell me. Oh yes, Ines, you're there.
No, I don't. I think there's no requirement. We can leave whenever we want.
Until what time are we supposed to be running this? Sorry, I'm asking publicly. But...
No, there is no time. There is no time. We can stay as long as we want, but we can we have been for an hour and a half now, so we can leave now.
Well, I'm gonna stay put here, sort of here, if anybody has any last minute questions, but I don't want to take up everybody's time. We really appreciate being here with us. My DMs are open. Community is open. Thank you so much to the community for all our members that came. Then Bio.xyz, and everybody's gonna have a really great sleep tonight, I feel like. But if there are any other questions, please drop them on the chat. I'll just I guess go mute and then stay here if there's anything last minute. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll just make the announcement on the chat as well. Victoria, just say, it's kind of over, but it's still open for questions. And I'll keep the Discord on, obviously. We don't want to just continue to talk for talk, especially as time is precious. So we'll stay here, but no one is obliged to stay. And maybe I can put some music so people can party. Thanks so much, Erin. Bye, and everybody else also dropped up already. So we're going to officially end the recording, Ines, you think? It'll be perfect, and then that way it's done. And say thank you so much. Join us on our newsletter, on all our socials. Look up ATHENADAO.co, look at our new website, and subscribe, and then look out for the information for our Genesis NFT membership. And there's going to be another reproductive health report. There's a lot of amazing and interesting projects coming up. So you know where you can find us. We're gonna play this recording. We're gonna actually drop this recording on our community so people can listen to it and go back to some of the information or learn about some of the things that we discuss. Thank you so much on behalf of the entire ATHENADAO community for being here and for supporting changing the paradigm in women's health research.